A family member died, they didn't have a will, and now how do I get that property in my name? Hi, John Strohmeyer with Strohmeyer Law. We get this question a lot. A family member has passed. We think we know who those heirs are, and how do we get the property in our names? A lot of times the simple answer seems like, well, we just need a deed and then we can transfer property. Here's the problem. A deed can only be signed by somebody who is authorized to operate on behalf of that person, who's legally authorized to own that property. While you're alive, sure, that's your property. You can give it away to anybody you want. But once you have passed away, your family members can't just come in and say, oh, well, I'm sure John's gone. John wanted me to have that property. Well, how do you know that, is it your sister that you wanted to have that property? Maybe your mom, maybe your brother, maybe it's your long lost cousin. The reality is Texas law doesn't let you just file a deed, especially when there's no last will. If there's no last will, we're going to have to jump through the probate process, including getting a declaration of heirship. This means we will have a court proceedings to determine who the legal heirs of that deceased person are. This is a procedure that takes about 6 months in a good case here in Harris County or Houston, Texas. In other counties, you may be able to move faster or possibly slower depending on what's going on there. This is not a case where even if you know you're the only child of the person who died, you're not going to be able to just sign a deed and put the property in your own name. You're going to have to jump through this procedure. There are a few other options. There is the small estate affidavit. Unfortunately, if you are not the surviving spouse or a minor child, so it's somebody under 18, we cannot use a small estate affidavit to transfer title to real property. You may have also heard about an affidavit of heirship. An affidavit of heirship is something where we can use it occasionally, but only when we're not thinking we're going to have to transfer title to the property for several years. The good news is, hey, you may be able to avoid something if we know who the heirs are, and you're going to have to sign under oath who all of those heirs are. You'd like to have some people who are not interested, so don't come in just saying, hey, I'm mom's only heir, and I'm going to sign this affidavit of heirship. You want some other people who are putting their name and reputation on the line to say, yes, this person's mother has died, and this is the only child. If they are signing something that is not true, they're only acknowledging one of the children and not both of them, all three people are potentially on the hook for perjury. They have signed something that they know is false under oath. That could get a lot of people in trouble. So we're not going to have anybody sign that. Really, that affidavit of heirship it's not a great option. The problem you'll run into is that a title company will look at that and they may say, this just isn't good enough for us to do something with. We want you to have something more concrete in place. And this is where they really prefer an heirship proceeding followed by an executor or an administrator's deed. If there wasn't a will, or if there was a will, then seeing the probate of that will and then an executor or administrator's deed showing transfer of the title to that property out of the estate. Not only does it show that somebody had the authority to sign on behalf of the deceased person, it's also showing that there are no debts associated with that property. So, unfortunately, when somebody dies and they still own property, there is not a quick fix, especially if there is no last will. If you don't have a last will, we're going to be going to court in almost every case. If there is a last will, there are some options. We may need to do a full administration. We may be able to get by with just a muniment of title. But ultimately, when somebody dies, if they owned real property, we are going to court for one thing or another. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching. If you've got other questions about this, go ahead and leave a question in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.